Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid-South Wrestling Review Series, and that is for April the 9th, 1983. And we kind of continue going through, some interesting things. The heel turn of Mr. Olympia, the debut and dominance, or beginning of the dominance, of King Kong Bundy, the dissension in the Rat Pack, among other things. Basically, they do the return, rise, and fall of Mr. Olympia as a starting point, and they run through the whole angle. Him aligning with Akbar, him winning the championship by cheating the Junkyard Dog, and all of that. Things that you've all kind of covered here if you've been following the program. If you haven't, please go back and listen in the archive. Olympia was later stripped by Bill Watts, but it doesn't really matter. He held the championship at least for a moment. Tim Horner getting an opportunity with Mr. Olympia, which as a heel is an awesome opportunity for Horner to ply his craft. Few arm drags by Horner before Olympia takes over. Olympia does a press drop slam, and then Olympia manages a fist drop. Among other things, Olympia certainly taking over on his adversary, and again, hard shots and almost shoot-style suplex, kind of like a brainbuster, only with a half cravat on already. Eventually, Olympia, who takes an amazing bump for a hip toss out of the corner. Some guys can do it, some guys can't. Olympia obviously can. Almost ends up on the receiving end of a drop kick, but that doesn't go exactly very well. And we see Olympia with a backbreaker. And, that's there. Hard shots by Tim Horner and Irish whip. And a big back body drop by Horner. Horner manages to hit a leg drop and go to town. He is moving very quickly. Slingshot into the ropes. Olympia sends Horner. And Horner, for all the criticism of the guy, and I will criticize him by the time he gets to Smoky Mountain, he was too big for himself. And we do see a sleeper loss for Horner here. Tim Horner at this point in his career, phenomenal. Then we see the degradation of the Rat Pack. It kind of the breakdown. Duggan doesn't want Akbar involved. Miscommunication between Matt Bourne and Duggan and all of that comes with it. Super Destroyer and Junkyard Dog up next, and interesting match there. Super Destroyer, of course, a pretty big deal at the time. A lot of this is review stuff, and again, I think Watts had to do this at this point because he doesn't have as much talent as he wants, although he is getting a higher grade of talent in comparison to where he was at this point in 82. Take over with the chinlock, although he doesn't get all he wants, does the dog. Dog manages to go after the arm of the Destroyer. Super Destroyer certainly not wanting to take a backward step to the dog, but has to upon occasion, works over the arm, does the dog for several minutes. Dog, of course, former North American champion, former Mr. Everything in the area, such a major part of the territory, and he stays here through 84, 85. I know he's gone by the beginning of 85 because he's there in time for WrestleMania. I think he's there in 84 too, but needless to say, Dog's still here for a while, and he had some snapmares. Moves look a little awkward, but I think they should with the size disparity between Dog and Super Destroyer. Several snapmares, gets him over, doesn't really get all he wants out of it, but it gets enough. And Destroyer manages to come after the Dog quite a bit, and Destroyer, kind of a bulked up guy, looking pretty good, and Dog manages to take a good pounding. Destroyer gets at least 60% of the match, offensively speaking. They do botch a suplex and headbutt by the dog to the back of the head, back of the mask. Dog comes off the rope. Big clothesline. Maybe not everything he wanted on it, but got enough, and he gets the big thump. The fans are up for the thump slam, and 1, 2, 3, we're done. Bundy says there isn't enough competition. He wants the Junkyard Dog. He wants Mr. Wrestling too. He wants just about anybody that matters in the territory, and he is certainly very aggressive. In this particular episode, he gets John Davidson, and he's not happy with that. Davidson, not enough competition for him. And, I mean, Davidson is an enhancement talent. Barely able to get a rock off of Bundy as far as punches and kicks. Shoulder tackle by Bundy, and he basically runs the man over, even though he is a pretty big guy by comparison. But Bundy is just massive at over 425, 450 pounds, something like that. And again, back elbow by Bundy. And we see a big Irish whip by Bundy. Hits a big boot and sends the man diving backwards. Bundy again pulls him up and kind of goes for a few extra punches, almost to send extra damage, and a big avalanche in the corner. 1, 2, 3. After a big splash, only Bundy wants 5. Gets the 5 count, and away we go. Art Cruz and Ron Ellis versus Kamala and Black Ninja, both presented by Skandor Akbar. Kind of a scary crew there, no pun intended, with Cruz being part of the ensemble. But Kamala really has yet to be fully challenged. That will eventually come, I assume, with the Junkyard Dog and a soon-to-come Magnum TA over the next couple of months. But anyway, Kabuki obviously takes the match in a more martial arts direction. Kamala saved until more towards the end of the match. Punch, kick, chop, and Friday on the outside of the ring. Kamala showing some athleticism, doing a big leapfrog, which at this point he might have done once or twice before. I think he did it once with Tiger Conway. But again, it's kind of an interesting thing. We see Kamala hit the big splash. 1, 2, 3, and away we go. Butch Reed and Kelly Kiniski is your final match of the day. And I don't know that they get the full match off. I think they get a limited nature of time. Reed manages several shots and punches. Big shoulder tackle by Reed and back elbow, and among other things. Reed, again, a former football player. I want to say Kansas City Chiefs, although I don't know football, so I might be wrong on that. Shot to the midsection, and again, and Reed really looks to be in picture-perfect shape, really. He gets a press slam and gets a win, and ultimately, Butch Reed looks to be on top of his game. We'll be back with more right after this.